The nation's gas giants say they're confused by the ACCC guidance on how to deal with the sector's new code of conduct. Joining me live is the Energy and Climate Deputy Program Director at the Grattan Institute, Alison Reeve. Alison, thanks so much for your time. Look, it is a very complex area, but the gas companies did get this guidance from the ACCC yesterday. I don't know whether this is enough time to look over it. What do you see in that guidance? Is it enough?
I think the ACCC's gone to a lot of effort to address some of the complexity that we get in gas markets. Gas contracts can take lots of different shapes, and there's actually there's a diversity of suppliers and also a diversity of customers in the market. One of the things, though, when you read the guidance, is you see that there's a lot of areas where the ACCC has said we'll apply our discretion at that point, and I think that is potentially leading to some of the confusion. Now, I think the reason that they've said that they're going to do that is because there's complexity and they can't come up with a one-size-fits-all solution for particular situations. But, you know, the flip side of having this, I guess, confusion or, you know, a large amount of discretion for the ACCC would be to try to squish all of the different types of contracts into one particular set of rules, and that probably isn't going to work either. So I think it's actually a really hard situation to resolve here.
Yeah, okay, so it might be a case of be careful what you wish for from the gas companies if they're saying that this guidance isn't enough. Let's look at some of the complaints from the gas companies. Do they stack up? They're saying, you know, essentially that they haven't taken on new customers or they're having to push up prices because of uncertainty. Is that fair enough?
I think one of the reasons that they're not taking on new customers is because it's actually not because of the price cap, it's because of the mandatory code of conduct, which is still being negotiated with the government. Now, most companies on the East Coast who are big buyers of gas have already contracted their gas for 2023. Where this problem is about not writing contracts is for 2024, and that's because that's after the price cap hopefully comes off and we're into code of conduct world. And as yet, people don't have the detail around the code of conduct. There's a provision in the code of conduct that says that, you know, you'll offer gas in at a reasonable price. Reasonable is different for different companies, right? They all have really different cost bases. They have different risk premiums. Some of you know, there are different places in their capital cycle. Some of them have, you know, plants that have been there for years and years. Some of them have plants that are still new and still paying down debt and so on. So I think, you know, all indications seem to be that when we get into the world of the code of conduct, we're still going to be in this world where the ACCC is going to have to exercise a large amount of discretion. Yeah. And that is what I think people are nervous about.
Yeah, it seems so. So it seems like there's two separate things here. The price caps, okay, gas companies don't like them, but they can live with them. They seem to be circumventing them. But the other major issue is this code of conduct and the vagaries around that. Is it okay, two questions there. First of all, the price caps, are they working though? Or is this kind of get around from the gas companies that maybe will exploit little loopholes to suit themselves?
I mean, the price caps were always going to take a while to flow through, particularly to retail gas prices, because they apply to new contracts. And as I said before, most of the contracts for 2023 were already written before the price cap.
So does that mean the price cap will take about, 8 months to work or even longer?
It depends. I mean, that people will still buy gas on the spot market next, you know, during the coming year where they've got, you know, a short-term shortage, and price caps would apply to that. But yeah, it is that the longer term contracts where the price cap is going to come into play, I think.
Okay, so the second part of that question, the code of conduct. So with a lot of grey area there at the moment, not quite sure what the code of conduct is, and still the ACCC able to exercise their discretionary power, is there a legitimate argument then from the gas companies that uncertainty, that is creating uncertainty, therefore they can't guarantee future supply? And you see, you know, a company in Queensland not going ahead with their gas project and others questioning it.
Well, I think you have to remember that the longer that they decide that they're not going to sell gas to people, the more that they're permanently destroying demand for their own product. So it's not really in their long-term interests to continue to refuse to write contracts, because not all, but many gas users have an opportunity to use electricity. And if they can't get gas at reasonable prices and they can't get contracts for it and they can't get certainty over supply, then they will switch. And they won't come back when gas prices come down because there's a cost to switching. So it's really not in the gas companies' interests to try and hold the domestic market to ransom, because they're effectively eating their own lunch, right? They're destroying the demand for their product, and meaning that there won't be a future market there for them.
I don't know whether you can answer this question, but we look with interest with Origin and that takeover going on with Brookfield. There's been a second delay. They want more information. They're doing due diligence. They're obviously looking at the price cap and the code of conduct. Do you think these delays are a direct result of what's going on with the code of conduct? The government intervention?
I'm not really familiar with the ins and outs of that deal. I would note that Origin's a pretty diverse business. It's not just a gas business. It's got an electricity business as well. I'm really not sure whether it's directly delaying that offer or not.
Fair enough. Not that I thought you'd have line of sight on that, Alison, but thanks so much. A very difficult subject area, and you've explained it all to us this morning, so I appreciate that. See you soon.
Great. Thank you very much, Laura.
Well, an elderly man is dead and 2 police officers have suffered chemical burns in an operation in Sydney's